is called a toast to friends. The labor long of day in blissful dusk now ends. So with glasses raised in thanks and praise to my loving wife and my family life, and to all the women and to all the men I have been blessed to call my priceless friends. All right, not to prejudge this just solely on the basis of rhyme. It's called The Lady in the Mirror. My wife is a nurse, and I have two daughters that work as nurses, so this is dedicated to this is written for my children and dedicated to my wife, who was a nurse. She made your house quaint. It's called The Lady in the Mirror, sorry. She made your house quaint with buckets and brushes of paint. You knew her inside as a person of pride, with the smile and the soul of a saint. She washed all your clothes and still washes the floor. She never complained about the joints and the pain. She just gave you her best and then more. She now serves yet others, new babies and new mothers, teach them the ways with wisdom to raise good sisters and good brothers. So on this, her greatest of days, let us her devotion repay, not with words from our lips or trinkets or gifts, but to do as she does and to mirror the world in her ways. It's called simply the Christmas poem. I search my heart for want of words, my love for thee define. The day grows short for so great a task, my mortal minds would undone remain in endless want of heaven's time. So great a task in greater hands belongs, for upon this night you moved the stars for men and kings from ancient lands afar, and filled the skies with wings and sacred songs, and blessed my heart, which for thee now longs to look upon the beauty of thine eyes. The last one is one of my favorite philosophical pieces. It's called The Porch and the Sea. Some of you know this already. I used to live as a young lad along the shores of Jacksonville. I had an upstairs porch and looked out upon the sea, and you used to be able to watch the moon rise over the Atlantic Ocean. And at the time, I was just a 6-year-old with a Mickey Mouse wristwatch, so it's sort of based on a retrospective. And Albert Camus sort of finds his way into the middle of this thing, so it's called The Porch and the Sea. Up in the porch, above the shoreline at nightfall, I remember the way it was then, my bed softened by winds lashing against unshuttered screens, billowing like small sails, driven by the fury of the sea. I listened, adrift upon my pillow to the waves, awash upon the massive face of the long, worn walls that stood at the edge of the fragile land. Tacit stone bastions that would have no voice, but for what the sea spoke for them both. First in an exclamation of muffled thunder, and then in an angry and slow, muted hiss, retreating upon the endless bed of ancient rocks. It murmured to itself in vain of Sisyphus when they met again and again and spoke beneath the moon. The wall remembered but slowly what the sea had spoken, so upon the wall it left notes in its primitive and indelible script, carved with the countless chisels of small stones and the grains of sand smaller still, and with what forgotten fragments remained of the will and fortune of men against the eternal and unforgiving sea. I did not know such things as a boy of 6. I just looked at my watch to make sure it would still glow in the dark, and then I wound the stem again, just enough, and went to sleep.